Okay, this is a 3D printed line follower. It's very simplistic and very low cost. It's just using two TT gear motors. The most common 148 can be either the dual shaft or single shaft. It's using two of the IR sensors. No Arduino required, and you get these IR sensors for about $1 a piece. And it's using one H-bridge driver. Again, for $1 or less. You know, if you buy in a quantity of 5 or so, you can get it for even less. It's got the benefit of if you turn it on, it's in standby mode. The motors won't run until you place it down on the surface. You do need a reflective surface. And this is just black electrical tape that I'm using. So let's bring it around here and I'll show you the schematic. So these represent the IR sensors. They just have a positive in, a ground in, and an out. 3 connections on them. Got a right and a left one. And it's just a switch. I'm using 3 AA batteries. So that gives me 4.5 volts. It'll work on 3. I just wanted some more speed out of it. So you connect all the positives. The positive on this IR sensor and that sensor and on the H-bridge. Bring all those up to the switch so that you can give them power. And then we're also going to jump on the H-bridge pins 1 and 3 on the input side to positive. And you do the same thing with the grounds. Take your negative from both IR sensors, take the negative from the H-bridge driver, and tie that into the negative side of your batteries. Just brings that on around. Now your IR sensors have an output line. You're going to take the right one and bring it up to pin 2. You're going to take the left one and bring it up to pin 4. And then that just leaves our output. We have our 2 TT motors, right and left. The right one to the top 2, plus and minus, plus and minus. If you build this thing and the car is going backwards, just reverse the 2 wires on the motor. Or if just one of the motors is running backwards, just reverse the 2 wires till you get it to where it drives forward. And then you'll be pretty much good to go. Now this whole base piece that all these parts are on prints as one piece upside down like that, no supports. The TT motors just sit in that cradle and I hold them in with 1 screw each. In this case, I'm using a 1/4 inch long 632 screw because it'll thread right into the motor and hold it in place. The on-off switch, I'm using the same slide switch that I use in all my projects. It's got a 19 millimeter from mounting hole to mounting hole spacing. Battery pack, you can glue it or screw it or do whatever you want to do to hold that on there. It didn't have to be the AA's, you could use the AAA pack if you want. Let's see, what else? Well, there's this caster. It prints with no supports. And the stock part of it could be glued to the frame, but what I did was I took a screw to hold my H-bridge in place. Can we see that? Is there enough light? Let me turn this light on. Come on, light. There we go. Yeah, you can see the black screw. So I ran a screw through to hold the H-bridge in place. Of course, you could just glue it in place with some hot melt glue or something. But I had a long number 2 screw, 2 millimeter. So I screwed it in and then screwed it into the base of the stock here. And then used another screw there. You know, if you didn't have 2 millimeter screws, you could use finishing nails or something like that. You can find something if you root around. And then the opto units, the infrared units. There's these separate plastic pieces that print with no standoffs, and once you print those 2, I held them to the IR sensors with screws. I think you can see the shiny screw there, or you can see that one right there. And once they're screwed on, to get the most separation, I make sure when I tucked it in, I glued this one as far over that way it could go, and when I glued, you can see right there's pieces that you glued it, I pushed it as far that way I could get, so I can get enough spread for the electrical tape. You want your sensor on either side of it. And other than that, it's just some very simple wiring. There's not much more involved in it. Very inexpensive, very easy to build. It seems to work quite well. I did have an idea though while I was just looking at this and filming this, is what if I added one more IR sensor but aiming straight forward, so that if it came off the black line and was running across the room before it hit a wall, or if somebody stood on the line, or a cat or a dog or a kid or something, that front IR sensor could sense something's there and stop the vehicle. And it wouldn't have to change any of the circuitry really. All we have to do is take that number 2 and number 3, well actually it's number 1, sorry, pin number 1 and number 3 that we have tied to V+. We would take that 1 and 3 and tie it to the added sensor output. So normally that sensor isn't going to have anything reflecting, so its output line is going to be high. So that gives us the high that we need for the chaser to work. But if something were to be there for that light to bounce off, it's going to go low. And as soon as it goes low, it's going to turn off the motors. So I may add that just as a fun test to see what happens.